Morning everybody, welcome back to another video on my channel. It's my Championship Boxing Day Match Day 24 review, and we had a lot of main talking points over the Christmas period and plenty to get into. So we're going to get stuck into this one with the first game on the agenda, which was Millwall 2, Wolves 2. A good result for Millwall in my opinion. I think it's a case of a point gained for them instead of two dropped, taking the lead through Lee Gregory, but then going 2-1 down eventually to Wolves before coming back for a late Jake Cooper header in the second half to get a point. And it's a good result for Millwall after a couple of poor results in the middle of before the start of Christmas really. A couple of defeats up at Derby and a couple of poor games at home. Although they did beat Middlesbrough at home, let's not beat around the bush there. So it's a good result for them. As for Wolves, a case of two dropped instead of one game for me. And to me, Wolves did take the lead in this one, and they struggled to hold on for me in this game. They did play some good football, but according to a few Millwall fans, Wolves ain't the Man City of the Championship like some people have been saying they are. But to me, if they're gonna, it's a game that they probably didn't need to lose really, and they didn't lose that, which is probably the best thing for them going forward. They came away with something in the end, which isn't the worst thing in the world. But in terms of Wolves, they need to try to beat these type of teams. It's not easy down at Millwall. Obviously, Millwall have beaten Norwich down at the Den, Middlesbrough at the Den, Sheffield United as well. So there are three big teams there who are probably expected to do quite well this season at the start of August as well. So Millwall's home form has been very good. It's probably one of the reasons why they're doing quite well, and probably doing one of the reasons why they're not involved in a relegation scrap. But as for Wolves, not the best result in the world for them, but it's a point nonetheless, and then just keeps them clear of the chasing pack. So into the next game, Barnsley 0, Preston 0. A couple of chances really in this game. Really, not much happened really. Obviously, one of the main chances went to Preston. Really, Jordan Hugill hit the post with a left foot strike in the first half. He probably would have tucked that away. Typical Jordan Hugill really. You probably expect him, as I just said, to tuck it away, but it hit off the post. And then obviously in the second half, Tom Barkhausen went close with an outside of the boot shot. Tight angle really. Should have probably gone with his left foot to be honest, and then Adam Davis had it covered. Obviously, a couple of chances went to Barnsley. Obviously, Harvey Barnes come inside on his right foot and drilled it at Chris Maxwell, which he parried quite comfortably. Obviously, Gary Gardner went through on goal in the second half. He got taken down. It was a good tackle by the Preston defender. Gary Gardner thought it wanted to be a penalty, but referee didn't give it, and rightly so. But look at the way the two teams are at the moment. It's a better result for Preston at the moment. Keeps them in tabs of the chasing pack in the playoffs. They're currently sitting in around 8th, I think 10th, 9th, I think it is at the moment, or 8th, I'm not too sure. Either one of the two there for me. But as for Barnsley, they probably could do with a goal scorer. Obviously now January transfer window, it's barely even a week away now, so they're going to probably try and identify some transfer targets. They've got some good young players from Leagues 1 and 2 last season. Obviously players like Cameron McGeehan and Brad Potts, who come up with Luton and Blackpool, played quite well last season, got many plaudits as well. They could probably do some more experienced heads in my opinion. A good goal scorer and probably an experienced centre-half for something that the young players can look up to. Whether or not they can keep Andy Eardom at left back in January, because he was subject of a lot of transfer talk in the summer, and he's been quite good for them. He's been a standout player at left back last season, and he's played a bit this season as well. Whether or not they can keep him, if they can't keep him, they can try and get a good bit of money for him and then try and invest that into the group. But as I said though, Barnsley could probably do with a win sooner rather than later to avoid them getting sucked into the relegation scrap. But as for Preston, not the worst shot in the world at all for them, and it keeps them in tabs of the chasing pack. So into the next game, Birmingham 0, Norwich 2. Fantastic result for Norwich. They played some really good stuff in this game. They took the lead with a very well taken free kick, one off the training ground as well. A short ball into the box from James Maddison. Alex Pritchard picks it up, turns, smacks it into the roof of the net, 1-0. Poor marking from Craig Gardner for me, in my opinion. You've got to be a bit tighter to Pritchard there. Stay alert to the short one that could have been taken, and it was poor defensively from Birmingham. Obviously, Josh Murphy went and got a late goal, a second goal later on. Played through, I think Nelson Oliveira, I think it was. Josh Murphy takes it around the goalkeeper and slots it in for 2-0. And as for Birmingham, it's a bit of it's poor really for Birmingham. Again, another game they haven't scored a goal in. I think that's 12 goals so far this season. They've only scored in all their games they've played, which is quite shockingly bad. And they need some inspiration from somewhere. Obviously, Steve Cottrell's been given the dreaded vote of confidence by the board. And I do believe he's the right man for the job. I think he's a good man. He's got them organised defensively and set up, so they know what they're doing on defensively. But they're just failing to create chances. They had a couple of chances in the first half. Jutkovic with a snapshot, Jonathan Grounds with a shot as well. And other than that, in the second half, they didn't really create much at all. I think once they see that first goal, the head seemed to go down. And they're low on confidence. And I know that's me stating the obvious and probably been a bit patronising there, but they are low on confidence and they need a good goal scorer. The owners now have got to invest in Steve Cottrell and back him with the money they've got. Of course, 4 managers in the last year. If they sack another one, that'll be 5 in a year. And he needs some sort of stability down there, especially at a club like Birmingham. It's a huge club. And they could do with a good goal scorer. I look at players in Leagues 1 and 2 like Jack Marriott with 17 goals for Peterborough. Danny Hilton with 13 or 12, I think it is, for Luton. there's two players there they could try and go out and buy potentially. Good English players who will settle in, who know the rough and tough of the English game, instead of trying to go out and buy a foreign striker for like double the price and probably not as good. But as for Norwich, though, good result for them, bouncing back from their defeat against Brentford. But as for Birmingham, they could probably do with a result sooner rather than later, and probably need to get a good goal scoring come January. So moving to the next game, Bristol City 2, Reading 0. Good result for Bristol City here. James Patterson, Lloyd Kelly with the strikes in this one to earn them the 3 points. Fantastic at the moment for Bristol City. If you're a Bristol City fan at the moment, you've got a lot to be happy about. Sitting second in the Championship, beating Manchester United in the Carabao Cup, getting to a cup semi-final, playing Man City away in the first leg over a two-legged affair. And there's a lot to be happy about. It's a real feel-good fact down at Ashton Gate so far this season, where teams have come down there and failed to get any points really. As for Reading though, I've seen some stories about Jaap Stam's job might be under a bit of scrutiny at the moment. I don't think that's right to sack him. I think he's done a very good job down there, turning the team around in such a short space of time. In about 18 months, he's really turned them around. Got to the playoff final last year. Obviously, it hasn't clicked this season. They spent a lot of money on some decent players, but it hasn't clicked. But if they keep the faith and stick with him, then I'm sure they'll do okay. So if we go into the next game, Burton 1, Leeds 2. A good result for Leeds this was. Coming back from a goal down thanks to a Tom Naylor strike, direct throw into the box, flicked on, goes right out to the far right hand side. Lucas Akins drills it back across the face of goal, and there's Tom Naylor at the back post. Question to offside, flag stayed down, but he poked it in to make it 1-0. Obviously, Pablo Hernandez took a lovely free kick, very well taken in the second half to make it 1-1, and then Kemar Roofe straight away makes it 2-1 and gives all 3 points to Leeds. Good result for Leeds, keeps them in the playoff places now. They're showing some good character, some good resilience, some good team quality really. They got Kemar Roofe firing on all cylinders. They got Pablo Hernandez playing well in between. Pavel Sabitski's playing quite well. He's getting many plaudits for his performances as well. And they're doing really well, Leeds, at the moment, and I do fancy them to start getting the playoffs this season. They went for a little bit of a mid-season wobble about mid-October, early November, but they've ironed that out now with a couple of well-fought results away from home, at the likes of QPR, Barnsley, and now Burton Albion, which are no easy places to go in terms of physicality, the way they play as well. But as for Leeds, playing some great stuff. As for Burton Albion, they had back-to-back wins prior to this defeat. Not the worst start in the world for them. They got a short turnaround with a game Saturday, so it's a chance for them to get 3 points and try and move on and try and push themselves away from that relegation zone. Let's go into the next game. My team, Fulham. We beat Cardiff 4-2 down at Cardiff. A good result, really. We took the lead through Tim Ream, and then we made it 2-0 in the second half thanks to Floyd Aite. Obviously, Cardiff had a couple of goals thanks to Kenneth Sahore and also Callum Patterson as well in the second half as well. And then we also went through on the break as well at the end to make it 4-2 thanks to Stefan Johansson. And in the first half, I thought we could have a clear-cut penalty. Johansson went through under the tackle of Bruno Aquali-Manga and went down. And how Simon Hooper's not given that, it is quite poor officiating for me. And I look at the referees in this division as a person who goes to watch Championship football down at Fulham every week and that. And the officials are poor. I mean, they're all looking immaculate, all bronzed up in their oil and that. And they've got big egos, as referees as well. Let's not beat around the bush. They've got big egos. They like to make themselves the stars of the show. And the referees in the Championship, they can't ref. Let's just state the obvious. They can't ref. They're quite poor. Obviously, they've got the arrogance. They walk around with the chins hanging up high and that. All, as I said, all looking immaculate, all about them. And they want to be the stars of the show. And Simon Hooper is one of them referees, in my opinion. I can't stand the bloke. I think he's an awful referee, in my opinion. He's another one of them arrogant ones who likes to walk around with the swagger and that, and make himself look good. But it's not good for me, in my opinion, refereeing in this division. But let's not take nothing away from performance. A good performance for us, and it stands us in good stead. 2 wins from 2 games against Barnsley and Cardiff. Also want to give a quick mention to Kenneth Sahore strike in this game. Really good goal. Probably goal of the day contender, if not goal of the month contender. So that was a well-taken goal from the Big Dane as well. Cardiff needs to get him fit and firing again if they want to stand any chance of getting the automatics. Obviously, Bristol City sits second at the moment on goal difference, but not the worst start for Cardiff. Their first home defeat this season as well. And it's typical Fulham, really. We go to Sunderland, we don't get nothing. We go to Cardiff, we get 3 points. Just the way it goes. So going to the next game, Hull 0, Derby 0. We've got a couple of 0-0s coming up here. Not much to really report on in this game and talk about. Obviously, one main chance come from Michael Hector. He missed from a set piece. But it's a better point for Hull, in my opinion, than Derby. 2 points dropped for Derby instead of 1 point gained. If I want to stay in the playoffs over the next couple of months, I need to look at teams like Hull and trying to beat them. But as for Hull, they've got a good point here. They got Fulham next, another tough game for them. If they can try and get something from that game as well, 2 points from Derby, a couple of points from Derby and a couple from Fulham isn't the worst in the world for them. We're going to go to the next one, Ipswich 0, QPR 0. Probably, again, a better point for QPR, I'd say. Again, it's another case of 2 dropped, then 1 gained for Ipswich. We had a couple of chances in the second half. Joe Garner had a penalty shout waved away for a questionable handball from I think a Martin Waghorn strike, I think it was. They had a couple of chances to win the game in the second half, but didn't do that. Obviously in the first half, Jake Bidwell went close from a Luke Freeman set piece. He hung it up into the back post. Bidwell was there to just knocked it over the bar with his left foot. As for Ipswich, they could probably do with a couple of wins now. You've got teams like Fulham and that snapping at their heels now. Also Brentford as well, snapping at their heels, trying to move above them in the table now. Obviously Ipswich do play Fulham and coming up soon on next Tuesday, so it'll be interesting to see how they get on down there. As for QPR, though, they don't win many games, but a point against a very well-drilled and well-good Ipswich side this season is not the worst start in the world for them. So moving to the next game, Middlesbrough 2, Bolton 0. Good result for Middlesbrough. Tony Pulis in the stands watching this after he got appointed earlier on in the day following Gary Monk's departure after Saturday's win against Sheffield Wednesday. Martin Braithwaite and Britt Sombolonga with both the goals in this game to give Middlesbrough the 3 points. Look at the way what's happened here at the moment, and obviously Steve Gibbs has come out and said Gary Monk was departed because of the style of play, but you're going to go on the point Tony Pulis, and let's be honest, he doesn't get many plaudits for playing tiki-taka football, like lovely possession-based football. It's all in your face, direct, over the top. It's basically back to front very quickly, and it's gung-ho really. He's a good manager defensively, but he's been associated with the firefighter type manager in recent weeks, in recent years as well, with Palace and West Brom, teams like that. So it's going to be different now, it's a different type of pressure at Middlesbrough. They've got one of the best teams in this league, so they're going to be expected to go out and win games every week. I just don't think Tony Pulis is the man for that. If he's going to get Gary Megson on board as assistant manager, they both love a bit of long ball with the both of them. And Gary Megson's one of the biggest managers in football, in my opinion. He loves a good whinge as well, he does. But not the worst, not the best, but not the worst appointment either. I think we'll get the best out of that group. Similar to Sam Allardyce at Everton, I think it's probably one of them old school type of appointments. Probably a bit more of a quicker effect than probably what's going to happen really. So moving to the next game, Nottingham Forest 0, Sheffield Wednesday 3. Good result for Sheffield Wednesday. Typical thing when you sack a manager, the team bounce back, the first game manager's gone and they go and win 3-0. Fantastic strike from Adam Reach for the first goal. Obviously they played really well in this game, the Sheffield Wednesday. A penalty from Jordan Rhodes and a fantastic strike from Lucas Shaw secured the 3 points. And it's a big 3 points for them. They haven't won in a long time with Sheffield Wednesday, and it's a huge win for them. As for Nottingham Forest, they could probably do a win sooner rather than later. Not been playing great, they do ship a lot of goals. A failure to create any type of main chances in the first half. Ben Brereton and Barry Mackay, two of the pick of the chances, but not the best result for Nottingham Forest. But as I said, for Sheffield Wednesday, fantastic. Going to the penultimate game, we've got Sheffield United 3, Sunderland 0. Good result for Sheffield United. First win in a couple of games after a bit of a mid-season blue type of thing, really, where they fell out of the top 2. On the team on the edge of the playoff places and 8th and 7th place as well, but a good 3-0 win there. Richard Stearman, one of the goals. Obviously, George Baldock as well, 2 players there, both their first goals for Sheffield United. Good result for them as it now keeps them in the playoff place. It's a big win as well. Comfortable clean sheet at home as well. 4 points out of the last 2 games is good. As for Sunderland, not great for them either in my opinion. They're going to struggle this season, I think, if they don't strengthen in January. And going to the final game, Brentford 2, Aston Villa 1. Good result for Brentford. They played quite well in this game. Romain Sawyers with the first goal, followed by Josh Onomah equaliser and then the winning goal right at the end for Brentford. Played some good stuff. They're on the hills now, Fulham and Ipswich, in terms of them trying to outside bet the playoffs. As for Aston Villa, they fall out of the playoff places now and could probably do a bit more consistency to try and get the chat into the playoffs. So there we go guys, that's my Championship Boxing Day review. If you do like it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new as well, and we'll see you all on the next video. Bye bye.